member for his opening statement. Senator Risch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No nation on earth has done more to reduce global hunger and stimulate agriculture-led economic than the United States of America. America gets spurred back in the 19th increase yields, gain access to markets and grow their families need to survive and thrive. I'm proud of the work America has done and the contributions my state have made to it. I also am proud of the work we've done to get emergency food aid to people in their hour of need. Here again, no nation on earth has been more committed to helping avert starvation. Food security is national security. As we saw during the Arab Spring and in places like Sri Lanka today, hunger is a destabilizing force that brings people to the streets and sends leaders into exile. And so it is in our interest to respond, first by providing emergency assistance when and where it is needed most, then helping people transition away from dependence and towards self-reliance. It is in America's best interest. The Global Food Security Act provides a roadmap for this. I have joined forces with Senator Casey to reauthorize it this year and look forward to working with our colleagues to ensure it moves quickly, seamlessly, and unburdened by additional mandates. It would be impossible to talk about the state of global food security today without focusing on Russia's unprovoked war in Ukraine. Let's be clear. This isn't a crisis. It's a brutal, unprovoked war that has taken a massive toll, not just on Ukraine and Europe, but on the entire world. In this war, Putin is using food as a weapon with the ultimate goal of starving the world into submission. I recently returned from Ukraine, where I saw bombed-out bridges, hospitals, and churches. I saw ambulances bringing Ukrainian soldiers and civilians to clinics, and train cars serving as surgical centers. I also saw evidence of deliberate campaign to permanently destroy and displace Ukraine's agricultural productivity and a campaign to bend the world to Putin's will by leveraging access to food for sanctions relief. The UN, including the World Food Program, must not be complicit in this campaign. They cannot continue to appease Russia in order to secure short-term partial compliance with international humanitarian obligations. It is very disheartening when I hear Americans, or for that matter, anyone else, particularly those who operate in the UN, suggesting that Ukraine has any responsibility for this at all. This is all Putin's. It is all Russia's fault. Congress is doing its part. We provided billions of dollars in assistance to stop the war and address its humanitarian impact across Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America. Obviously, other donors also need to do more. In the meantime, we must do everything we can to stretch U.S. aid dollars further. This includes removing U.S. cargo preference requirements on food aid that have outlived their purpose, drive up costs, and slow the delivery of life-saving food up to 12 months. There are only 3 bulk carriers left in the U.S. flagged fleet that carry food aid, none of which are militarily useful. To suggest that maintaining U.S. cargo preference for food aid is somehow vital to maintaining U.S. maritime security is inaccurate at best. Last year alone, cargo preferences cost USAID an extra $80 million in transportation costs. Imagine all of the starving men, women, and children we could have reached with an additional $80 million. Hungry people can't eat transportation costs. It's time to end this brand of corporate welfare. I look forward to the testimony today and to working with my colleagues to find practical solutions to address the biggest global food security crisis of our time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Risch. Before I introduce our fantastic panel, let me just say we have very young staffers with us today. Everybody's included. But we welcome the youngest staffers that Senator Murphy has brought to assist him today. And I understand one of them is his niece. So welcome to the committee. New blood. New blood, yes.
Yeah.
Senator Murphy. It's been Senator Murphy's theme since he got here to the Senate. So welcome. It's my privilege to welcome United States Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, back to the committee in her role. Ambassador Thomas-Greenfield leads efforts to advance U.S. interests of the United Nations in pursuit of peace and security. Ambassador Thomas-Greenfield is a veteran diplomat, having served our country for 35 years in the Foreign Service, including as the Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, during which time she worked on many of the countries most impacted by the global food crisis today. So thank you, Ambassador, for joining us, and I appreciate our discussion, including the need for lifting the housing cap so that we can attract the talent we need at the UN to meet the challenges of Russia and China. We're also joined by another formidable diplomat, USAID Administrator Samantha Power. In her role, Administrator Power oversees USAID's international development and humanitarian efforts around the globe. She has had a robust public service career, previously serving as the United States Ambassador to the UN as well as on the National Security Council, so we welcome you.